YA book review of the second book in the Shades of Magic series. This is A Gathering of Shadows. This book for me is 3.5 out of 5 stars. I have a detailed review on Goodreads. I actually thought about, because I also type it up in Microsoft Word, I actually thought about just reading my review. Because I ended up rounding down on Goodreads to 3 stars instead of rounding up to 4 stars, as if you follow my channel you know I sometimes do. Things that I liked in this book. Alucard is amazing. The element games is also an interesting concept. It kind of reminded me, you know, I don't know, the word games just makes me think Hunger Games, like, automatically, even though they're nothing alike. And I really liked how the element games, like the competitions or the battles, depending on how you want to look at it, weren't like overly detailed, and I actually kind of liked that because it left a little bit to the imagination. What else did I like in this? Really, those are the main things that I liked. Was the introduction of Alucard, which, if you don't know, he is a privateer, and he kind of reminds me a little bit of Nikolai from the Shadow and Bone trilogy, but Alucard seems a little bit more mature because I think he's a bit older, but he sure is dashing from the description and from the fan art that I've seen online. And so my dilemma with this book, and I'm kind of bummed out because I heard so many great things about this series, and as I mentioned on like Bookstagram, that I'm kind of struggling with it, which is sad because I really wanted to love it. A few other people have come forth and said they are too. So I don't know if it's a matter of the hype, so I had these super high expectations and therefore I'm just like setting myself up for disappointment. And it's not that the series is bad by any means. It's not bad. It's just okay to me. I'm not in love with it, and I really wanted to be. The thing that bothers me is kind of the same thing that bothered me with A Darker Shade of Magic, is that like nothing happens. So in A Darker Shade of Magic, it was okay, and then the last 100 pages was like mind-blowing, and it was amazing. And this is kind of the same thing, except it's a little bit longer. It's 500 pages. It's a really thick book. A relatively thick book. And then the first 100 pages, you know, Lila is on this ship, and now she's like a thief and a pirate, and we meet Alucard, and it's amazing. And then like nothing happens for like 300 pages. And then the last 100 pages, it's the element games, and it's amazing, and all this stuff is happening, and it's super exciting. And I guess my dilemma is like, I shouldn't be bored for 300 pages. And it's just a lot of like no action really, a lot of introspection and speculation and people thinking about their thinking. And another issue was that the Kell and Delilah reunion was put off so long. I'm about to give you a spoiler, so this is your chance to like plug your ears. Okay. I knew they were going to meet at the element games once things started getting put in motion, and I'm completely okay with that. The only thing that sucked is that it didn't happen until 2/3 of the way through the story. Okay, end of the spoiler. So moving on, you know, I still kind of don't like Lila. You know, I didn't like Tessa Gray, which is a very unpopular opinion. I didn't like Roar / Aurora / Rora in the book Roar, and it's not that I don't really like Lila. I don't know what it is. I don't like her for the same reasons that other people like her. People say she's strong and she's a kick-ass protagonist, and no, I'm sorry, I disagree. Yeah, sure, she can be kick-ass. She's a thief who kills people, and in book 1 she very clearly says that she gets like high off of the feeling of killing someone. And I don't know if someone called the author or the publisher out on that, or the editors or whatever, because in this book there's like a scene where she shows a tiny bit of remorse and like kind of says she doesn't like doing it. And you know, she's incredibly selfish. Granted, this is YA and she's like 17, and I'm pretty sure I was relatively selfish at 17. But you know, like, I wouldn't put her on a pedestal for those reasons. So it's not necessarily that I don't like her. I don't think she's an example of a strong female character, which is what people are claiming she is. That's my issue, I think. I do enjoy her. She's a great fictional character in this book. You know, she has a lot of potential in A Conjuring of Light, which is the 3rd book, for growth. Like, maybe finally she will learn that she can't run from her past, but that her past also doesn't define who she is. And she even says so herself, that she always has a choice. Well, you have a choice to kill someone. Okay, I understand there are scenes where she's killing people in self-defense, which is a little bit different than, you know, just killing someone because you want to pick their pocket or whatever. But, you know, like, there's a scene in here when Kell and Lila finally do reunite. So if you want to plug your ears, I don't know. They, like, you know, Kell accuses her of some things because he thinks she's being, like, pig-headed, and she is, and I think she knows this. She's pretty self-aware, and she, like, holds a knife to his side. Well, you're pretty much in love and everyone knows it. You're gonna stab someone you love, and my issue comes because if this were a role reversal, everyone would be calling foul and, oh, you know, these are unhealthy relationships and men shouldn't dominate. So I think in a weird way, and I'm a fairly conservative person. I'm kind of like a liberal conservative of sorts. I'm kind of just my own thing, in case you haven't noticed. It's just kind of the way I roll. That, like, I don't know. Like, that's not an example of a strong female. Killing people and being morally ambiguous is not a strong female. Like, if I had a daughter, I'm 35, I could very well have a daughter. I taught 6th graders and there were parents that were my age. I could have a 12-year-old. I don't, thank God, but I could. And, like, I wouldn't want that to be something that my daughter emulates. I'm not saying I want her to emulate, like, a clueless princess either, but, I mean, there needs to be a balance of the two things. And so I like Lila. I'm not really invested in her. Like, if she died in A Conjuring of Light, I don't know. I mean, I'd only care because Kell would be sad. So I don't know what that means. Take that with a grain of salt. But I just don't like that people are claiming she's like a strong role model. She's a strong, kick-ass character. Yeah, if she comes to terms with all her demons by the end of the series, I will agree with that statement. Right now, I don't agree with that statement. And I guess that's kind of my lingering issue. So I guess part of my issue is all the hype around the book is kind of eating at me as I read, along with the slow pace of, you know, long spans of time. This just didn't, you know, seal the deal for me. The parts that are good, really, really good. The parts that are boring, pretty boring. I am going to read A Conjuring of Light. I'm kind of sad that I just, you know, didn't fall in love passionately with this series. I wanted to collect all the merch and be excited, and I'm really not. I was told by other people who didn't really enjoy this series, like they just thought it was okay, that the Savage Song is better, and I've heard good things about Vicious, which is adult fiction, and I think I might have to explore one of those two options as well, because I don't want to completely write off V.E., aka Victoria Schwab, just because I thought this series was mediocre. And I know that sometimes my opinions of series like Passenger and the Infernal Devices, I know these aren't popular opinions, but I don't know. I think it's actually similar writing styles, and it just doesn't resonate with me. As an author, I'm always, you know, reading articles and taking workshops, and they're saying, cut words, cut words. If you can say it in 10, you can say it in 5. Well, if I can say it in 10 instead of 5, then how is a book 500 pages to 700 pages long? I don't know. So I think part of that might just be my own conditioning. I love the magic, like I said. I love Alucard. I love Rye. I love Kell. I love the world. Not really a fan of the king and queen, even though I get why they act the way they do. I think that, you know, like I get where Kell's coming from in that department. And a certain character resurfaces, which I also enjoyed. I'll leave that spoiler out. But I thought that was not completely unexpected, but also kind of cool. So I enjoyed that. So this is just like an average read for me. You know, it's 3.5 stars, and I rounded down to 3 stars on Goodreads because of all the things I talked about in this video. If you want to see that written out, it's in my review. And you know, just I'm coming at this from a bit of an older reader. I'm not in my 20s. I'm not a teenager. You know, I'm closer to the side of 40 than I am to the side of 30 at this point. So I feel like my perspective might be a little bit different. and I just like to bring it to the table so that, you know, you can hear other opinions that might be a little bit different. So this was a gathering of shadows. In the meanwhile, happy reading and happy rating.